It's the topic everyone's discussing. Forwards, 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 centre forwards, strikers, strikers. It's the word or words on everyone's lips, especially if you are a Rangers fan at this moment. Welcome to Glasgow Rangers Nation with me, your host, Aaron David. Guys, remember to smash that sub, ring that notification bell, and join this free Rangers news channel. Guys, as remember, no Patreon, no paywall here. We do not hide our content behind a wall of finance. Okay, let's talk forward. So we've obviously got a situation where we do need a centre forward. We need someone who can put the ball in the back of the net on a regular basis. Lawrence Shankland obviously is the obvious candidate, but whether the club are interested in Lawrence, who knows? Now, there is a name that has... Now, look, I'm going to say something before I talk about links and whatever. Let's just get things straight. I understand that agents try to whip up interest in their players. I understand as well that papers love that. And yeah, I get that. But you know what? It would be obviously remiss of us not to bring reports of players that are apparently attracting Rangers' attention, or players that could possibly attract Rangers' attention. Because as fans, we want to know everything about our club, don't we? Whether it's rumour, counter-rumour, speculation, or just plain bollocks. We do want to know everything about our club. Now, we are also going to talk about the possibility of Cyriel still going to the African Cup of Nations, which could severely divide the fan base. There's a shocker. Anyway, let's talk a little bit of this guy who is currently linked with a move to Rangers. That is Joe Gelhardt, the Leeds United striker, forward, attacking midfielder, number 10. Look, Gelhardt is a young lad. He came through Wigan's youth system, was bought by Leeds, has never really broken through into the Leeds first team. You look at this season, he's failed to make the Leeds team. He's behind Joel Pirot, Jorginho Ruta, Patrick Bamford, for example. They're ahead of him at this moment in time. He's also had injury issues with his wrist this season that has kept him out. Last season, he went on loan to Sunderland for a short period, I think 18 games, plus a playoff game that he played in. And struggled at Sunderland. He really did struggle to sort of settle in. I think how they used him, how they wanted him to play, given the fact that I think he was brought in initially to play with Ross Stewart, but obviously Ross Stewart got injured and was out for the rest of the season, and it was very much left to Gelhardt on his own, and something he didn't really cope with. If we look at Gelhardt's record this season, he's made 6 appearances in the Championship, all from the bench. He's only played 8%, well, actually, some from the start as well. 8% of the starting 11s. He's played 7% of the minutes and has got a 0% goal participation rate this season. A few more facts and stats about old Joe Gelhardt before we talk a little bit about him. So his full name's Joseph Paul Gelhardt. He was born on the 4th of May, 2002. So he's 21 years old. He's from Liverpool in England. He's 1.79 meters tall, so he's not a 6-footer. He's centre forward. He's left-footed. He has a contract which runs until 2027. Now, it's unclear at the moment whether Leeds are looking to sell or loan the player out to continue his development. And I think if it's a loan, you've got to kind of question how many loans do you want at the club. And I genuinely think that if we are going to sign another striker, it does need to be on a permanent basis. We need to start building a squad with players that are ours, that are going to be here for a few seasons and not just for half a season on loan. That's my personal opinion. You may disagree with that, obviously. He's played 49 times for Leeds, scoring 3 goals and 7 assists, so 10 goal contributions in 49 games. But bearing in mind, most of those appearances have come from the bench. His record for them under 21s is slightly better: 31 games, 20 goals, 6 assists, the 26 goal contributions in 31 games. He played 21 times for Wigan, scoring 1 goal, and last season 20 games for Sunderland, scoring 3 and assisting 3, so 6 goal contributions in total. You look at his league breakdown record. In the Championship, he's made 43 Championship appearances with 7 goal contributions, which breaks down as 4 goals and 3 assists. And his Premier League, he's played 35 times in the Premier League. So he does have Premier League experience with 2 goals, 6 assists, so 8 goal contributions in 35 games. Gelhardt is more a 10 than a 9. He's more a second striker, a support striker, rather than being an out-and-out striker. Sunderland tried using him as an out-and-out striker last season. It really didn't work. He did spend most of his time dropping deep to link play and sort of overcrowding that midfield area. So, you've got to kind of think about this. If Gelhardt was to come, where would we play him? He's not an out-and-out 9. Rangers, seem to, under Clement, want to continue with the 4-2-3-1 formation. He doesn't suit that system. That's the system that Sunderland play. that's the system that Leeds play. He doesn't suit the system, unless he plays in that 10 role, which then obviously begs the question: does that mean that he plays if he plays in place of Cantwell, or he plays in place of Tom Lawrence when he's fit, or he plays in place of Kieran Dowell, or even shock horror if he's still here in January, Sam Lammers? So look, he would play in place of Sam Lammers. Let's face it, my 70-year-old mother would play in place of Sam Lammers. But I'm looking at this in the terms of the fact that I don't think this is what we need. I'm hoping this is just agent speculation and paper speculation, given the fact that Leeds are wanting to give him an opportunity to leave. Like I said, I don't know whether it's permanent or whether it's a loan move at this moment in time. But for me, Gelhardt is just not an option. Fabio Silva is coming on loan. He's our lone striker. We need a permanent based striker. Second of all, Silva can play as a 10. He can play as a wide forward. Again, that's what Gelhardt can do. I think we'd be going too much down the route of doing exactly what we did in the summer and buying players that were far too similar, rather than players for position. I think Coppen and Clement obviously will look at this and address this issue, hopefully in this January transfer window. But look, Gelhardt, he's a good player. Don't get me wrong. He's skillful. He's a good young player, up and coming player for England 21s. But I don't think he's what we need at this stage. We need an out and out striker, out and out 9. Someone like a Lawrence Shankland, someone like Bojan Miovski, someone like, for example, if you were going to, look in the English Championship, striker-wise, you've got to look at, at the likes of, say, even Patrick Bamford, or, look someone like that who is an out-and-out striker, someone, who will score you goals on a regular basis. This is the sort of player we need, not a 10, not a wing forward. We need someone to play up in that 9 role. Emmanuel Dennis was another one that was mentioned. Like I said, I've hopefully put you all off him. 1 goal in 4.8 games. Pretty bad attitude. Look, I'm not dissing Gelhardt. Gelhardt is a decent player. He's had a pretty decent history in terms of his clubs. He started with Wigan, then he's obviously gone to Leeds for €1 million, which is about £750,000, loan to Sunderland, and obviously then came back to Leeds, where he is currently. So look, that's the option there. Like I said, he is a decent player, but I just think we've got too many of that type of player. We don't need any more 10s. What we need is a 9, an out 9. Talking of 9s, well, kind of 9s, one more like 8.5. Cyriel Dessers. Now, according to the reports coming out of the African Cup of Nations at this moment in time, Boniface, who is a Nigerian striker, has torn a muscle and is now out of the African Cup of Nations. Now, according to reports in the media this morning, the guy who's been called up to replace him is a guy called Moffy, Timu Moffy, I think his name is, or Terim Moffy, who currently plays for Nice in France. Now, he has been called up to the African Cup of Nations. Now, because he was called up after the deadline and wasn't in the preliminary squad, his club can refuse his involvement in the Africa Cup of Nations. That is according to the press this morning. Now, if that is the case, Pereira, who is the Nigerian manager, may well turn to Cyriel Dessers as a possible replacement for Boniface if Moffy is not released by his club. Now, I realise this is something that's going to split the fan base straight down the middle. There'll be 50% of the fan base going, oh, we can't afford to lose any more strikers. He's our only striker. Yes, we've got Fabio Silva if we don't sign anybody in January, etc., etc. And there'll be 50% of the fan base that are going, oh, please take him. Just get him out of here. Just get rid. Because what does he actually contribute when he's here? You can have him as a 9, but what does he actually contribute to the team? So, there is 2 sides to every argument, but it does appear that he has become an option should Moffy be refused to be released by Nice, which they are quite within their rights to do. I don't know whether Rangers are within their rights to refuse the release of Dessers. Personally, I wouldn't, but, it's that... But you've got to obviously counter that with the fact that the club have got to work on the basis that, number one, they need to protect themselves and protect their needs, but also the fact that would denying the player an opportunity to go and play for his country at the African Cup of Nations then turn that player against that club to some degree, or will the player behave in a professional manner? You never know with footballers, do you? So that is an option apparently that is being looked at by the Nigerian Football Federation. So I'll bring you up to date with that, guys. So let me know what you think of those 2 stories in the comments down below, and I'll try to get back to you as soon as I can. So on the way out, as always, guys, 2 things I ask of you. Number 1, smash the like, it helps the video. And number 2, remember always, never forget, we are the people.